Welcome, everybody. We'll call this meeting to order Budget Fiscal Affairs Oversight Committee, and thank everybody for coming. We'll be brief this morning. We just wanted to have an organizational meeting. On the agenda is just introductions and to adopt the rules. If there's not objection, we'll proceed without rules, because I'd rather get to know everybody and let everybody get to know them. It will just go around the room, starting with you, Representative. If you
okay,
just tell us your name and say hello to everybody.
Hello, I'm David Wilkerson. I'm the new representative from Cobb County, Powder Springs, Austell area. I'm a CPA by trade, 2 young kids, 9 and 7-year-old. Glad to be here.
Great, glad to have you, Coach.
State Representative Coach Williams from the 89th District over in Stone Mountain area.
Super. I'm Mike Chokus, and my district is 134 in South Georgia, Suffolk County. And on that note, I've got 3 kids.
I'm Calvin Hill, District 21, a little bit north of you up in Cherokee County, and nice to see everybody this morning.
I'm Mike Jacobs, District 80, DeKalb County, Brookhaven.
I'm Bubba Epps, District 140, which is in the Middle Georgia area, Creek, Wilson, Fortune, Fields, and Jones.
My name is Chuck Martin. I am fortunate enough to get to work with these folks as chair of this committee this year. I appreciate the opportunity to do that and look forward to getting to know you all. I represent North Fulton County, Alpharetta, Rawlsville, a little portion of Johns Creek. Been down here. This is my 9th year. Come over from Vice Chair of Public Safety and Appropriations, and look forward to doing this work for the Speaker. We'd like to, as a piece of business this morning, I'd like to ask you to consider the rules. They should have been in your green folder. These rules were handed off to us from the committee last year, and I think have been adopted since the committee's inception in 2007. Has everybody had a chance to look over those? I think they're fairly consistent with our committee rules across the House of Representatives, and where they're not, a rule is not spoken to, we will drop back to our House rules. Anybody have any questions on the rules? Any additional comments?
At the appropriate time, Mr. Chairman.
If there are no questions, that now would be that time. If we get a motion to adopt the rules for the budget.
Yes, I'd like to move that we adopt the rules, these rules right here that we passed out.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the rules for the House Budget Fiscal Affairs Oversight Committee. Is there any discussion on that motion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. We note that our rules are adopted for the 2010-2011 session. I know we've got to get downstairs, but I want to, Martha, Ms. Wigman, do you want to introduce yourself and how we might be moving forward staff-wise with the committee this session?
I work in the House Budget Office, and we are merging House rules under our umbrella to try and give you all a serious approach to legislation and budget, try and blend policy and the money all at the same time. This is Darren Dickerson. He also works in our budget office. Your committee, we find, is pretty unique and something that we in the budget office have typically been quite involved with. To that extent, I think the chairman's agreed to work with me to decide whether you want a permanent staff placement here or whether you would choose to have your policy staff assigned by the issues that you choose to take up. Often what you discuss in here gets complicated and long-winded and may need the specialized knowledge of a policy person. So we will work on that. You all can let me know what your preferences as you decide what issues you'll tackle. We're very easy to reach. We're at 656-5050. We used to make the joke that you had a 50-50 chance of getting money from us. So now you might have a 50-50 chance of legislation as well. But please feel free to call on us anytime we get background information to support your work here. We have an excellent, talented staff, and we're available to you.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you. And Jeremy, we're glad to have you. Glad to have you this morning. The last piece of business before we'll conclude, I just passed out an overview. Some years ago when this committee was formed, before the 2007 session, I had worked with then Speaker Richland and Speaker Pro Tem Burkhalter with some ideas for the committee. These represent the ideas that I put forward at that time, and I put them forward as my ideas and goals for the committee now, and ask for you all to take those in mind and then think of action items that we might take. I think it was apropos in 2006 for the speaker to form the committee. I think with the budget situation the way it is now, it is even more important. And specifically, if you look at the goals, these are mine for the committee, and I ask for your input. It's very important for us to be that bridge between ways and means and appropriations. So please give me feedback. The other thing I would ask, I know some members of the committee are on appropriations. I don't have that information in front of me now. I know that you are, and Chairman Hill chairs one of the subcommittees of appropriations. I've spoken with the appropriations chairman, and we will be assigning folks from this committee to monitor the appropriations committee. To be clear, you won't be a voting member on appropriations. That's up to the speaker and the appropriations chair. But Chairman England would like very much for us to work with their vice chairs, and when we look at things in the off session, we will of course include the vice chairman from appropriations, the various subcommittees to work with us. So we'd like to do that. If you have a preference about which committee, if you're not on appropriations and not assigned to a subcommittee, if you have a preference of which one you might be interested in being our liaison to, so certainly let me know, because it makes all the sense in the world to line folks up with where their area of interest is. Are there any questions about the goals overview or anything in general for the good of the order? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One question. During the time that appropriation is meeting and we are not meeting and we are not in session, will we be given the per diem?
Well, if we have business, at the Capitol,
Okay.
we're in a tight budget situation. If we have business that we need to be at the Capitol, or if there's a subcommittee meeting that we're cleared to attend, I need to clear that with the speaker. Certainly you won't be asked to attend that subcommittee if per diem is not made available. But I want to specifically clear that with the speaker, because we want to be sensitive to the budget situations that we're in at the Capitol. I will say this: we have assigned to us, if you haven't looked, the zero-based budget legislation. I believe Representative Allison has put that forward. So I would encourage you, and we'll have it in our packet when we next meet. We may not take that bill up right away, but I would encourage you to take a look at that. Zero-based budgeting means 10 things to 9 different people. And when you look at it, there's just not a hard and fast definition of it in folks' mind. So we want to act on that legislation at the appropriate time, and I would encourage you to familiarize yourself with it. But we will be doing things. We'll do a lot of work out of session, because you see that coming, and you're absolutely right. We will be doing a lot of work out of session. But I suspect we'll be doing a little more in session, perhaps, than the committee's done in the past, given the current budget situation. Yes, sir.
Will we be getting a copy, I'm just reading, will we be getting a copy of that legislation that Stevens does, zero-based budget, so we can review it?
Yeah, we'll get it. We were going to put it in the packet this time, and just, again, from a savings of paper, it's online right there in in front of you in PDF. If you have your computer, if you have an iPad or so forth. It's House Bill 30, is it not? 33. I think it's House Bill 33. And the reason we didn't go ahead and put it in the packet is we weren't going to act on it today. And he may by the time he gets here, he may, have a substitute available for us. So rather than just have multiple copies floating around the package and being sensitive, again, to copy costs.
Thank you.
Any further items of discussion before we adjourn? Anything for the good of the order? That I want to encourage you all to send me a note, come talk to me. I mean, don't put form over function as to thoughts you have for the committee and things that we might act on. I think if you look down at the goals, there's quite a bit we can do here. I mean, we hear it all the time from all groups out there for the tie that Ways and Means exemptions and exclusions and so forth are backwards appropriations. I mean, they're an appropriation and that we don't take the money. This is a perfect opportunity to get our help support the new Ways and Means chair, the new appropriations chair, to make sure that all the fiscal decisions that are being made are tied together, and second, to make sure that all the decisions made by this House and this legislature relative to where the money is budgeted, in fact, goes there. We've had some situations in the past where money were budgeted in certain areas and then found its way into others, and that was really another reason for this, some of these notes to be made in '06 going forward in '07. Anything? Well, that wasn't even the governor. That was a department on their own decided to reroute fund, and we have that occasionally. I mean, the Georgia State Patrol, when they have personnel lapse money, they're short on gasoline.
Oh, yeah.
That's all going to crime suppression. I don't think anybody argues with that. But when a project is specifically not funded in the budget by the legislature, both the House and the Senate, and the governor signs the budget, and the department takes it on themselves to, if you will, rob from Peter and do the project, that is just obviously contrary to legislative intent, and that's disrespectful, in my opinion, to not just the legislature, but the 9.5 million Georgians that send us up here. So we're going to try to work with our departments. They're all good folks, and they'll work with us, and we're going to make it right for the people of Georgia. If there are no further questions or comments, we'll stand adjourned if there's not objection. That objection will be adjourned.
Sure.